Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of It Came From Craigslist, mate! We're doing London today. We're going international, I think, for the first time ever on this series. I know we have a lot of Euro squids that watch this channel, so today we're gonna be looking at London's crustiest, weirdest, and strangest motorcycle listings. If you're new around here, the deal is that everyone on our Discord server joins up and shoots me over these listings to check out. I think this week's was rather difficult because we didn't get too many of them, and I think throwing an international one in there made it a little tough. But I think what made it tough is that there's not a huge Craigslist motorcycle scene in London. You have to go to another website called Gumtree, from what I found out. So I should have told the folks on Discord that, but unfortunately today we're going in raw, we're going in wild, and we're gonna see what we can find on Gumtree on our own today. But if you wanna join up and shoot me some cool motorcycle listings, or if you just wanna chat with me and everyone else on our Discord server, hit the link down below, go to yamanoob.co, pick yourself a tier package, and you also get entered to win a bunch of cool motorcycles, which is pretty sweet. Without further ado, let's jump into it today. All right, your boy has to put on his glasses now because I can't see a goddamn thing. That's the technical term for that. Alrighty boys, the first thing we're looking at today, you saw the thumbnail, we gotta knock it out first. It's this 1944 Kettenkrad German World War II half-track motorcycle. They want 16,500 of your finest British pound sterling for it, located in the center of the city of London here, right on the north side of the river apparently. So yeah, let's see what it says. Well, first I really want to take a look at the photos here. Okay, so first of all, super pixely, you gotta love it, low res, can't tell what's going on. If this truly is from 1944, this is insane. But it does look like a Tonka toy truck kind of turned to life to a motorcycle here. I'm loving the coil springs on the front that are not inside of tubes. That's an interesting front suspension setup. It's got tank kind of tread on it, which is pretty sweet. Some cool gauges. You got two levers going on. Who knows how to ride this thing? Doesn't look like it has a cable actuated throttle. Maybe it does. No brakes? You don't need brakes. You're probably not gonna be going faster than maybe 15 miles per hour on this thing. Yeah, I mean, benefit of it, you can't drop it. There's no way you could drop this thing, I don't think. I mean, if you could, that'd be amazing. Maybe if you took it off a curb a little too aggressively, you just, flip it over or something. So let's see what this guy says. I'm gonna try my best to not, I had the biggest urge to just do a British accent right now so much, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm terrible at it. This 1944 Kettenkrad NSU is in very clean condition. Everything is original. It was owned by one collector for over 35 years. That math don't add up, Chief. If it's a 1944, one owner, well, I guess it was a one collector when he bought it. All right, maybe your math adds up. Never mind. Runs and drives very well with its original 36 horsepower engine. The Kettenkrad was a marvel of engineering, right down to its steering system on each side to make tight corners. They were used by airborne troops that they could be driven on and off a transport plane. They were even used to transport the Messerschmitt ME 262. Don't know what that is. Someone in the comments are gonna know what it is. Nearly impossible to find. This is a rare opportunity that will be sold at a fair price, so place a bid and don't miss this. The originality is amazing. Own a piece of history here. Here's my thing. If it's truly a piece of history, as you say, why is it on Craigslist? Why isn't it in a museum? Why have you not put it on a reputable auction site? Why are you trying to hawk it to me on Craigslist? Something about this doesn't seem quite right. And 16,500 pounds is quite nearly 20 grand in our US American dollars. So I don't know, Chief, I don't know. This is a really weird listing though, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on. Do you guys like the energy today? I just came back from a flight from Brazil and I'm feeling crazy. This is like my 6th cup of coffee today, so let's see how much I can talk without saying the word and we'll go from there. Up next is one that I thought was extremely cool. This is actually really, really sick. So this is a 1959 Ariel Square 4. All right, this bike is so cool for so many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons that it's so cool is that its engine configuration is a square 4, so the pistons fire like this in a little square, as the name implies. You'll notice from the one photo, the two header pipes on the side are coming out like that. On the other side, you'd have the same thing. The Square 4, I believe, had the top speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats for a little bit. I think this was at one point the fastest motorcycle in the world. So really, really cool bike. Actually, let's do a little bit of more research on it, shall we? Yeah, so the bike began its life in 1931, which was way back in the day, and went all the way to 1959, which is really, really quite a bit of a long time. It's saying here that basically it was a victim of its own trends. All the motorcycles back in the day started going towards smaller, high-revving power units, and these kind of big square 4 engines didn't really catch on. But nonetheless, a very unique, very interesting motorcycle. So let's take a look here at what he says. They want 17,000 pounds sterling for it. Again, very high price here in London. We don't know why. This is a rare find. Owner passed and wife would like to have the bike returned to the UK for the next owner. So it's in Florida right now, apparently. The bike is numbers correct and has 47,000 miles on it. Wow, it's been ridden. That's amazing. Has been sitting for 1.5 years, but starts and runs. Could use a tune-up, but a show winner. That's actually really cool. I love seeing classic bikes like this that actually have mileage on them and have been used. I don't like seeing these pristine 0 miles collector pieces just because it's like, I don't know, motorcycles are meant to be ridden. They're not museum pieces. They're not art. I mean, they can be beautiful, but you should ride the damn thing. This is super cool. 9 out of 10 for me. Let's keep it moving. So this one here, it's actually in Gillingham, Kent, which is quite a bit of a ways away from London. As you see here, as I zoom out on this map, Kent is, you're really pushing it if you're considering Kent part of London. It's really not part of London. But this is a kind of one-off custom build. It's a Triumph BSA 900cc, it says here. Let's look at the photos here before we pass judgment on it. I already read the description a little bit, so I know what to expect, but it looks like this guy's done a custom job and slapped in a big ol' honkin' Triumph 3-cylinder in his classic Bonneville kind of, you know, retro custom kind of look, which is really unique. I don't really know how the frame is going to handle that much torque and power. This thing probably feels like a bit of a death trap to ride, if I were to guess. Looking at the frame and then looking at the size of the engine, you're probably going to see a lot of flex in the bike. I'm talking as if I've ever built a motorcycle in my life, but you know what I mean though. Like if you're looking at a motorcycle and the frame is this thin, and you have this big of an engine, it's probably not gonna work very well, but this seems like a pretty clean and well thought out build. I like seeing that the gauge cluster here looks like it's from the triple cylinder that this thing came from. But let's take a look and see what they say. It says, one-off custom TRIBSA registered as a BSA motorcycle and historic vehicle. Frame has been modified to take a 900 Triumph Triple Daytona engine. So this must be from it can't be from the 955 because that had a bigger than a 900cc engine, so I don't know which triple this comes from. Maybe it's from one of the Tigers, a Tiger 900? Maybe from one of those. I don't know where this guy got this triple, but it's not from, I don't know which Daytona had a 900. Oh, okay, wow. I was wrong. There was a Triumph Daytona 900. I always thought that it started with the 955, but apparently I am wrong. So let's see here. So this is the 900cc unit that it came from. It's this older Daytona, one of the super early variants from 93 to 94. We all know that the patrician version of the Daytona is the 675R. We all know it. It's the best one. But it looks like he took it from this one, old school carbureted engine. So it's still, you know, it's interesting. It's a retro bike that's been modded with a modern day power unit, but at the same time, because it's such an old power unit, it's also retro for that reason as well, which, hey, kind of interesting. So let's see, what else does this guy say? Bike has just been MOT'd and runs well. I believe that's for their like registration and stuff over there. Carbs may need synchronizing, handles extremely well and is reliable and quick. Just had oil, water change. Petrol tank is at Pete Seal compatible with modern ethanol fuel. Reason I'm selling is I have too many vehicles and need to make room as I am looking to move in the near future. My dude, I've never related to something harder in my life. I have too many vehicles as well. This is interesting. Everything for 3,400 pounds, pretty fair. I mean, it's a weird custom one-off thing, and if anything goes wrong with it, you don't know how to fix it. It's gonna be, you know, it's not standard. I would generally avoid buying someone's like super modified custom project like this because you really just don't know what you're gonna get. So this one for me, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Moving on. All right, so here we have a 1980 Yamaha XS650 SG in really clean spec. So these parallel twin 650 class bikes from the 80s and the 90s and even the 70s, but I think more in the 80s and the 90s. These are kind of what UJMs became a little bit going into the 80s and 90s as things became more specialized. And Europe in particular had a big love affair with this style of motorcycle because it was basically like your Bonnevilles and those sorts of bikes, but for a lot cheaper. So a lot of people actually got this type of bike and the Kawasaki W650. Those were really, really popular over there. Lots of people like them. There's even this common thing that people say in London where it's like, oh, the W650 from Kawasaki is basically like a better Bonneville from the same era, which I don't disagree. It is a good, reliable motorcycle. But this one in particular, this Yamaha, is in very clean spec. This is looking really, really good. Nice center stand. You gotta love people in Europe. They park their bike in front of something really nice, so they kind of make it look a little bit more upmarket. Very, very nice. Thank you, lads. Appreciate it. I love the center stand here. I love how the gas tank is so tiny on these bikes. That's crazy. The only thing I might want to do is maybe make the bars a little bit lower, but at the same time, with those really high upright bars, it's probably the most comfortable bike you could ride. Nice and narrow through the frame right here, which is really great. Easy to lane split in London with that because that is allowed over there. Very cool, very clean. Let's see what they have to say here. Very rare and unique low mileage Yamaha. During 1979 and 1980, I was deployed aboard aircraft carrier USS Coral Sea. I was flying F-4 Phantoms in Marine Squadron VMFA 323 Death Rattlers. After the failed rescue attempt of the Iranian hostages, we pulled in the port of the Subic Bay, Philippines for some rest and relaxation. I purchased my 1980 Yamaha XS650 SG at the Navy Exchange Subic Bay on 12 of May, 1980. This is amazing. This guy's like weaving a tapestry here, a beautiful story. It was still in the shipping crate, partially disassembled. I had to put it on the hangar deck of the carrier and brought it home to MCAS El Toro, where I lived on base. I had the Yamaha Dealer Award Motion in Costa Mesa, California assemble it. Some of the miles are from driving to Top Gun at NAS Miramar and the Weapons and Tactics Instructor course at MCMAS Yuma every week for 6 weeks each, blah, blah, blah. I stopped riding it in 1983 with 9,800 miles on it. I filled the gas tank and engine to include the top of the cylinders with preservation oil and plugged all openings. It was stored, covered in my home for the next 28 years. I put it back on the road on November 2011 and now has 10,993 miles on it. Bike is located in Southern California. Wow, what a story, my dude. From the Navy, from the Philippines to California to Top Gun, what a history on this bike and what a clean example of an XS650. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. I'm really enjoying it. Really, really cool. Moving on. So as I mentioned, we had to venture into Gumtree, this classifieds service here in the UK, which is much more popular than Craigslist, albeit much more obtuse to use from a user perspective. Craigslist is a lot easier to browse. But the thing I noticed most about these listings on Gumtree is 125s, man. You got 125 after 125 after 125 here, which it makes sense, right? Because they're learner approved and limited in those markets. So you have your A1 and your A2 licenses and then your unrestricted A. So for your A1 license, that's your 125cc. I think it's like under 17 horsepower. So you see tons of these 125cc bikes like this thing. It's a Hyosung GV125 Aquila Cruiser motorcycle. I have never heard of this thing, but you know, because got a 125cc cruiser probably can't even go 50 miles per hour. But it looks like a cruiser, right? It just looks like a half scale model of a cruiser, which is really quite funny. That's amazing. It's actually a V-twin. I'm looking at it right now and I'm seeing 2 cylinder heads. So it's a 125cc V-twin, which is absolutely adorable. Very, very adorable. Yeah, the speedometer reads all the way to 100 miles per hour. That is very generous on this motorcycle. It will probably never make it up to that much. Look at this, V-twin, 125cc, the little baby that could. Why don't we get a sound check on this sucker? Let's go to YouTube and see if we can find it. This is hilarious. So this guy is like literally going full throttle everywhere. He just banged it up on second gear, just trying to make it down this road. My God, that is such a cute little exhaust sound from this 125cc V-twin. Amazing, amazing. So that's the one thing I like about looking at international markets. You see all these bikes you probably wouldn't see in America, so that's pretty sweet. The Aquilia Hyosung V-twin. Wow, for 2,200 pounds. Moving on. One thing I noticed about Gumtree as well is y'all are crazy out here. You have in your used motorbikes and scooters for sale kind of world here, three-wheeled scooters, which I've seen tons of in London. You have jet skis in the middle of all this. You have regular scooters. You have quads. You have Can-Ams. You have 125s. You have dirt bikes. You have it all here, which is amazing. I can't say too much because it's the same thing in America. Our Craigslist are littered with mobility scooters and jet skis and all that other kind of shit, but this really takes it to a next level, I think. One listing I really wanted to look at that I thought was so cool is this Honda XR400. So the XR is this sort of legendary dual sport bike that Honda made back in the day. Just this absolute workhorse, indestructible line of bikes. They made it an XR400 and XR600 if I remember correctly. And these are just, you know, you cannot go wrong with these. You can take them off-road, you can supermoto them, you can do whatever you want. It's basically a much lighter weight, much simpler DRZ 400, which is really saying a lot. That's saying a lot, guys, because the DRZ is a bare bones simple machine. But you look at it right here, all the space between here, air cooled, nothing complicated going on. This is your tried and true dual sport bike. And this one has some pretty aggressive knobbies on at the rear, but it is plated, so it did pass inspection and MOT and all the other stuff you guys have going on there. So pretty cool. Same owner, 21 years. They want 3,500 pounds for it. I think that's decently fair. That's a pretty old bike. It says dry stored for 19 years. How do you not ride a bike for 19 years? That's crazy. I don't understand that. XRs are super cool. I would love to have one of these in the stable just for shits and giggles. Would be amazing. Really, really enjoyed seeing this one. And last but not least is this apparently road legal CR125. So because 125s are legal to ride around over there in London and people regularly do, and it's like a big market for 125s, you also see two-stroke 125s pretty often. I don't know how they pass inspection, but somehow they do. And so this one here looks like your, I mean, honestly, here in America, you see a guy on one of these in the street, you probably do not want to get up too close to him because he's probably doing something illegal. But I imagine the story isn't too different in London. There is no way this is road legal, dude. There's no lights on it. There's no turn signals. There's no plate. I don't think this is road legal. I think someone is just saying this right here. I don't believe that it's road legal. 3,000 pounds for the CR125. And for those of you at home in America thinking 125, so slow, but the CR125 is different, okay? It's two-stroke, very lightweight. This is a totally different animal than your run-of-the-mill Honda Grom or something like that. This is definitely gonna rip some ass down your local main street in London. Maybe take it down to Kensington and cause some damage, if you will, in the hoity-toity posh parts of the city. Maybe you could do that. But that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of International It Came From Craigslist. If you want the chance to join up, hit the link down below, join our Discord server, and drop some links for me to check out in there. Please do not drop me links in the comments or on Instagram or anywhere else because I do not read them and I do not check them out. I'm just being real with you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.